How's everybody doing? Hopefully, you guys had an awesome weekend. Felt like it took forever. I got deep fried at the beach. Wonderful. After Orlando, my skin's about had it. I'm not gonna go live on TikTok until I'm done with the news because TikTok doesn't give a shit about the news. Good evening, good evening. All right. So just a few more seconds and we're going to go ahead and get to our headlines here. Um, and then, of course, you guys know the deal. Nothing's changed. We're probably gonna. I gonna stick with Meta this week until something changes. But I've got a good idea, and I've got it mapped out pretty well as far as where we want to take this thing and where it could possibly go. Let's see here. All right, that's good. All right, really quickly, just getting the stream set up. TikTok. Damn it. All right. All right, there we go. All righty, so let's get to it. What's up? How's it going, Mike, Nick, Gareth? Gareth, that's cool. All right, let me pop this chat out really quick. Alrighty, so last week we had one of the biggest weeks of 2020 as far as movement to the upside. We saw the S&P up 6.45%, the Nasdaq ripping all the way up to our 7.49%. The Russell 6%, and then the Dow up 5.39%. Of course, tons of headlines as far as that's concerned. The Supreme Court also made several headlines this week. Of course, we know about Roe versus Wade and the New York handgun law. Despite a good week for stocks, sentiment remains bearish, with Bridgewater doubling its short bets against European stocks to 10.5 billion. Also, Goldman Sachs has upped their recession forecast to a very precise 48%. The Federal Reserve gave 33 banks passing grades in their annual stress test, opening the door for these companies to release their capital plans to shareholders on Monday. The Senate Banking Committee grilled Fed Chair Jerome Powell, of course, over the record high inflation and overall state of the economy. Biotechs and healthcare stocks in general had a strong week. Meanwhile, cotton was down 20% as commodities quietly pulled back from the highs on rising recessionary fears and improving supply chains. Airline unions are leveraging strong travel demand to negotiate better compensation for their workers and striking across the United States and Europe. Additionally, UK rail workers shut the country down by striking. Listen to that. After reaching a stalemate during negotiations with the government, as many face cost of living crisis, as they should. The Nasdaq top 25 list stood out this week, of course, as the S&P and Russell 2000 lists were held back by their exposure to energy and tech shock stocks. Of course, shined. Zendesk buyout drama ends in a lackluster $10.2 billion year, just months after rejecting the $17 billion deal. Jewel, of course, dropped shares of Altria. And then in crypto news, FTX is making moves amid market turmoil, bailing out several firms by extending credit facilities and ending or taking stakes in them. Additionally, hackers stole another 100 million in crypto from Horizon, a blockchain bridge developed by crypto startup Harmony. And you're going to probably hear a lot more of that shit. Um, 1 second. Let's see here. Okay, let's do this. Hold on, sorry. Alrighty, I think that's good to go. I'm setting up the TikTok stream really quick. One second, everybody. Thanks for your patience. One second. All right, that's perfect. Alrighty, so just wanted to give of course, a brief overview here on what I'm thinking as far as movement to the upside. Obviously, my watch list, and obviously for those of you who are starting out, there's something to take note of here. We and I have not really done much of any. I haven't traded really any other names except for Facebook. And you guys have seen we've had a great overall couple of weeks, almost month, strictly trading Facebook. So I'm going to continue. If it's not broke, of course, don't fix it. So that's going to be the big name there. Now, a couple of things that I just wanted to point out here, and we're going to exit that really quick. Uh, Okay. So a couple things I want to talk about on the cues. Obviously, that's what's leading at the moment, and all since I went on vacation up until now, I've been talking about this setup right now. And as you guys can see, this is on the 15-minute, of course, higher time frame, a little bit clearer. But this is a rising wedge, or excuse me, a megaphone pattern, right? And of course, like we just covered, there is still bearish news overall. The markets have yet to really have any catalyst to move us to the upside. And of course, most things that get broken are going to get retested, and that's what you're seeing a lot of right now. But that being said, and of course, sometimes I don't see everything. I did have someone point this out to me, and you can see it once you go to the 4 hour. And this is my comment to you. I think it was Alex from our Discord. I did and do see the possibility of this, and of course, I'm looking on this on a smaller time frame. But oops, for some reason I can't click that. There is the possibility that I've missed this, and now the cues. Because one thing during a bear market is people will often get caught off guard on how vigorous these, and really they're squeezes, but how that movement to the upside, it's meant to convince you that you're in a bull market. But one thing that I did see here, you can see a falling support, and then of course the 200-day EMA sitting right up around here. So there is a possibility, but that won't happen and does not happen until QQQ moves up above 300, and really it's 304. So in the meantime, and based on what I can see at the moment, we may see another leg to the upside going into this week. And ultimately, I still don't see any reasons why stocks should be moving to the upside from here. So, yes, I am taking requests. If you have any charts that you want me to take a look at, those requests, all you have to do is just drop those in the YouTube comment section. And you can be on TikTok and do the same thing on another device. But if you guys are hanging out on TikTok, please tap your screen if you guys don't mind. I do appreciate it. All right. So, with that being said, I want to cover a few levels for those of you guys, and I will post all of this in my Discord. And for now, just to comment on this one thing, for now, this lower time frame setup that I've been watching, like I said, since I went on vacation, stands. There's nothing really, in my opinion, that is until it breaks, it's valid. And so we still have a little bit higher to go. I have 296. So 296, anywhere above that, obviously there's a gap to fill all the way to 299. And if that happens, of course, we will. Who cares about what we think or what patterns we think we see? At some point, we have these key levels in order to give us that trigger so that we know when to go to the upside and go ahead and toss that. Um, I see a request. Could you please look at my blood pressure chart? Yeah, send that right over. I'll chart it. You are calling a bear market, but I have bought Veritex a while ago at $150. Well, I did call a bear market a very long time ago. In January, I was calling for a bear market. You can go back on my TikTok. I had a lot of people calling me a lot of names, but the majority of stocks have fallen. So, and the majority of stocks, especially tech related, have definitely seen a big beat down. But if you found a gem, that's awesome because finding a trending stock or a strong stock during times like these that's obviously not inverse or inflation based is pretty sweet. So. How do you recommend going about learning how to read charts? Start with the basics. In our Discord, we have a couple flashcard chart. I wrote it all, most of it myself, but you can go and check that out. It basically just gives you a rundown on what to look for and start with the basics. It's literally people overcomplicate it. Like this is the pattern to look for. You want to look for higher time frame setups where things are very clear to you. Like right here, the QQQ is set up on between the time. I just saw this by looking at it right towards the end of May and right towards the beginning of June. And I see very clearly because your brain is literally trained to pick up patterns. I see a head and shoulders, no problem. All I have to do is go find the support, which is right here. And then obviously we lost that support after tapping it more than 3 times, and then I can take my trade. This is stocks. Yes, I'm clearly on the front page here. So, but if you guys are new or we have all education, everything like that is absolutely free. We go live every day here on TikTok and on YouTube, so that you can watch, learn, and of course, I'm answering questions and charting for people all the time. So. Any links in my bio, obviously free Discord has, it's not just we don't do like signals and stuff like that. It's just strictly for education. So, but anyway, so where and how would you enter and exit on QQQ? There doesn't have to, so there's not always going to be like a direct, for some reason, this is not letting me click over there. This side of my screen is broken. So as far as the neckline retest, if something doesn't get retested, period, end of story, it's going to retest eventually. It will. It's just a matter of time, and usually the further you get from it, the better. Or well, I guess if you're in terms of a bounce back. So. Um, if you have any requests, all that I ask is if you hop in our YouTube channel, drop that request in there, and you can hang out on TikTok. There's not a lot of requests right now, so all you have to do is grab those or hit the link in the bio. Sorry, I read someone say they grabbed a call. All right, so anyway, you guys got my QQQ set up right here. We've got a gap to 299. Below us, we have it below 292.68 and this point of control at 290, and I'm looking for a support retest. And of course, if things get nasty, we would be looking for levels around 278 and maybe even as low as 260. And then, of course, Meta is on the watch list. But if you guys have any request, you guys can go or any questions. Again, I'm here. A lot of people pay a lot of money to have like a couple questions answered, and you could just ask them now for free. So, yo, give me all your stocks. Okay. I've never been robbed on live before, but I mean, okay. I don't know how are we gonna do this. All right. So anyway, let's start off. Apple seems to be heavily requested here. Where is the weekly predictions? Ever since Universal, Ellie's been a little bit hard to get some solid predictions from her. So, all right. So Apple is right there with everything else. Everything looks exactly like Apple. So if you're watching Apple right now, here we got to always start high and then work your way down. So if you're on the daily, you work your way down, or the week, the monthly, you work your way down to the 4 hour, the hourly, 15 minutes to see exactly where we're at. So at the moment, it does appear that we're not too far from a solid retest and a resistance tap of our downtrend at 145. So for those of you on TikTok, zoom that in a little bit for you. So really nice downtrend here. Anytime we're questioning our downtrend, I like to go to the 4 hour just to make sure it's nice and tight. Perfect trend line there. It also had a moving average there in line with that. So we've got an interesting situation here, right? So what I just told you is that there's a smaller, lower time frame resistance here that could bring us and dump us all the way down, but there's also a higher time frame resistance or downtrend at 145, and that's just a little bit above us. So there's a couple of things that can happen here. We can pull back, and if you remember, this is just like Facebook. We can pull back down to support because of course, we could even just gap up. That's a possibility as well. For some reason, the left side of my screen is wigging the hell out. So anyway, take a look at this. This is a lower time frame wedge. Okay, so if we end up losing anywhere around 138.50, and honestly, it'd be 137.40. That's where you could look at Facebook or Apple moving to the downside. And I would make sure that you're setting alerts. If you're charting and you're not setting alerts, you're kind of not really doing it yourself any favors, especially if you're watching like one particular stock. But anyway, those are the levels to the downside. And then, of course, you have a gap fill 142.60. And then the first resistance I have is 144.12 and then downtrend. So don't be surprised if you see a wick up to 145, 45.50, and then a pretty gnarly pullback from there. And the realistic thing is that at the bell, if we open up here, you could fly up to 145 and then just spend the rest of the day dumping. But of course, set your levels because without those, none of this is going to work. So make sure you have those levels set, and you know exactly where sellers are going to step up, buyers are going to step up. You do have a gap below you, and you do have a unfinished gap above you. So too many lines. Well, then don't look at it. So let's see here. We've got VRTX. I haven't seen that ticker in a long ass time. If you guys don't mind tapping your screen, if you guys are digging the stream, tap your screen if you're digging the stream. That's corny. All right. Whoa. Holy shit. So pharmaceuticals are heating up. Hot damn. What are they doing? Okay. So anytime a stock is moving like this, right? I'm always, I need to be informed about what's going on, right? The overall market's weak, and this is on steroids. That's number one here. You are at, I'm assuming not all-time highs, but previous. Okay, so you're close to. This is where I want to go to the weekly. Okay, zoom out even further and collect the data, make it a little bit easier for yourself. Thank you guys for tapping the screen. I do appreciate it. All right, so major resistances above you. I don't know why this thing is acting crazy like that. Sorry about that. Okay, so major resistances above you. The first one that I see is 295.76. It does look like you got a wick up to 299.37, and then these two little stretches are up to 305. This one actually taps 305.88. And then right below that, you got 309 or 303.95. So of course, news based, and this type of stuff right here usually happens at the height of some type of news or some type of, like we're putting out this pill and it's going to be this thing. And then of course, things change pretty quickly. A lot of the times when you have this nice bottom right here, you will see a pullback at the highs, and how you pull back is kind of will determine where the stock is going to head from there. So in this case, looking at VRTX, anywhere above $300 candle close, and I would say on the weekly or the daily. Honestly, it wouldn't be enough just to have a daily candle above there, but on the weekly, if you did end up having a candle close above that, then of course you can start moving up higher than that. But of course, I'm doing all of this analysis just purely based on technicals, and those do not help without having an idea of what's actually moving the stock. So I would say right off top, kind of looking like a cup and handle type vibe. You don't want to see a double top here, anywhere below the 250s, and this thing's probably toast. So kind of want to set alert on it just in case. Do you think SPY would dip it open? I think it might pop it open, but let's see. I know I'm crazy. I haven't even looked at futures. Okay, so looks like, what time is it? 8. So we've been open for a little bit. So we're getting a little bit of pullback, but I still see a little bit of a leg up. Yes. Futures 39.50 is where I'm thinking we should see a pop up to. If you gap up, if we move up to 39.50 and open up at that mark, I will call for a dump. But if you guys haven't commented, if you guys are on TikTok, remember YouTube is the best place to drop your request. Also, if you guys aren't following me on Twitter, make sure you guys go hit the link in the bio and follow me there. I am going to be doing a giveaway soon. $1 billion. No, I'm just kidding. All right. I did forget to do one thing, and I'll do it really quickly. So this week, we've got a pretty gnarly amount of data coming in. Durable good orders, pending home sales, Dallas Fed manufacturing. That's the 27th. So that's tomorrow. The 28th, we got wholesale retail inventories, S&P Schiller, Case Shiller home prices, CB consumer confidence, Fed daily speech. All right, at 12:30 Eastern time, 6:29 federal Q1 GDP, Fed Chair Powell speech 9 a.m. As well, 6:29, 6:30 we have personal income / spending, PCE price index, Chicago PMI, and quarterly grain stock, corn, soy, and wheat. S&P global manufacturing PMI and ISM manufacturing PMI all on July 1st. So there's always data coming out. Well, yes, I understand that, but this data, there's certain data sets that we're going to get that are going to directly impact the market more than others. That's noted. All right. So let's take a look. SPX. Oops, shit. So I imagine this is obviously probably looking exactly like our counterpart here, and it looks like it might be leading. It is there. So it's actually broken above. So this is actually just, and we just talked about SPY and Apple and all these other stocks that have these strong downtrends. Not to brag, but by the way, on my Twitter, if you guys don't follow me there, on June 12th, that was the chart. We bounced right there. Okay, so anyway, enough bragging. Support, resistance. It looks as if we are heading towards resistance. There's a gap to fill on SPX at 40.12. and that is right around your supply retest of 40.40. So that's what I got for you right now, and it looks about as clear as day. Here's your key levels. You have shot straight up to supply, so that's one thing to keep in mind here. So right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candles all settling right there. So you're gonna want to push above, hold that 39.76. Oops, sorry, TikTok. Um, but anyway, you're going to want to go ahead and push and hold through and fill this gap. 4 hour time frame, 39.56. So yeah, 39.56. But if you do pull back anywhere below 38.60, and that's where you're going to get a demand retest at 3800. So, all right, let's keep it moving. Getting very, very sleepy. I know, it stocks, dude. I don't even, dude. I enjoy charting, but don't get me wrong. I I did not. I was not 3 or 4 years old, hoping that I would grow up to become a stock trader. But what I have a lot, and the reason why I do what I do is because I'm able to do what I want to do now. I can dive into the interest and things that I want to work on. So it is boring, but it's worth it. So yeah, man. And plus, what feels better as an American citizen than taking money from Mark Zuckerberg and the people who want to invest in him? But regardless, it is nice. I like it. All right, let's keep it moving, guys. All right, so we got Spy looks just like Apple. Apple got it. And Nvidia looking sexy for this week. Spicy. Yes, that's pretty spicy. All right, let's take a look at the hourly. So we know what the daily looks like. We've got support a little bit wigged out here. There's our little channel. That's money, dude. Put it on a cracker. 200-day moving average is at 175 on the dot. So that is your nearest resistance. I do and would expect a pullback unless buyers and volume are super high. Anywhere above 175, you have a gap fill immediately to 180. And I'm telling you right now, if you have the volume to break above 176 and 175 and 176, you absolutely have the volume to break into this gap. But once you hit that gap, this is what you got to run into. You can see that point of control here too, right? That's important. That's why I use it. But that's your supply retest. 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's 180, 185. So, if I ever do these lives and you want me to send you the chart, DM me on Discord, okay? Or tweet me. That'd be way cooler. Actually, tweet me. I would prefer if you tweeted me. That's a real thing that people say. All right. This is sort of a penny stock. Yeah, I know about TCRT. I don't know if charting's going to help it, but I'll take a look at it in just a second. Zuckerberg looks like a fish. If I caught a fish that looked like Mark Zuckerberg, I would kick it in the head, and I don't even think I'd throw it back in the water. I don't think I would. But if I saw Mark Zuckerberg, I would take him fishing. Of course, I would never harm him. Never. 175 seems stupid clear to me. If you don't see a pullback, I see 173 above you and 175. So, alrighty, let's keep moving. What is that instrument you were using? What do you mean, what instrument? Good evening. What's up, Chill No? Yeah. Oh, yeah, I got you. No, I was trying to fit the stock things in here. I was trying to fit the oh, it's too bright. I was trying to fit the liquid death in there. See? Trying to get sponsored over here. Liquid Death's tripping. Nice. Yeah, I see it. Actually, yeah, look at the sponsored liquid debt. Oh, the whole ribbon indicator. Oh, I'm sorry, dude. I was overcomplicating the shit of that. So I will. I'm going to tell you the easiest way to get it, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that it's in my bio. Yeah, no, that's the heat map. Okay, so I do have the heat map. If anybody wants that, which usually is up here anyway. Hold on. Oh, I didn't want that. I want a heat map. All right, I will put once this live is done, I'll put the script for the ribbon on there. Tesla is what those dorks trading in your Discord. They're so lame that Manny and Rod scalping like CR. Rod Stringer. Rod Stringer. Why is that name so familiar? Oh, that's because it's my Discord. I was like, dude, what the fuck? This guy's got the same name. Oh, guitar? Yeah, I have a guitar. I have a ukulele guitar. I'm about to start restoring a drum set. So I can start playing drums again. Because I scalp it every day, dork. Call me a dorky dingus. All right. Where the hell did that even go? Alrighty, so let's keep it moving. Quick refresher on supply and demand. All right, you ready? If you do not know supply and demand, pay attention, okay? Because this can really help you in the future. I'm going to simplify it, all right? Above you is supply, right? Below you is demand. Stop getting confused by it. That's all. And obviously you can get into more technical terms, and there are larger, higher time frame supply and demand zones. And I'll show you a bit what that looks like in a bit. But above you, right here on the video, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Obviously, this is where buyers held up and where they failed. This is also, right, this zone where sellers stepped up. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a supply zone above us. So when you leave a demand zone below you, right? And so the demand zone at the moment is lower time frames about 170. So once you leave that 170 mark, then it becomes way more likely to retest that supply. And that's how you know if stocks are going to go higher, right? Because what happens is if you can get into the area where buyers liked it before but couldn't push it any higher, that gives you a second chance. So when you're breaking to the upside, and when I'm looking at targets, right? So if I was to look at NVIDIA right now and it ended up moving above 175, I have a high amount of confidence that this will go to 180 and 181. And why 181 over 180, which is a psychological number? Because people are greedy. People buy the top. People see 180 and they start buying, right? When smart people are selling. So, and then obviously from there, there's always the middle mark, that median, but this goes below and above you. And so you can find these higher, and NVIDIA's about as perfect. In fact, if a quick homework, and you guys, if outside and inside of the Discord are welcome to do this, I want you guys to go and mark out between, and send me the chart between April 8th and May 23rd of 2022. Mark out the supply and demand. This is elementary supply and demand. If you feel like you don't understand it, don't worry. Send me what you got, and I'll send you back what I think, okay? Or I'll send you back my chart. But this little zone right here is something that you could look into the future and see, right, where buyers and sellers are going to step up in the future. So I trade in the Discord every day, and let me tell you, this is the real deal. Thanks, Rod. I appreciate you, brother. Nice. You got out of Roblox. And you know what? There's a lot of people who I wouldn't recommend because I don't do that. But I would if I was in their boat and I bought way up here, I would be looking at either trying to take pain, a little bit of pain over what could end up being a lot more. I do not think that this is the end. I do think that we will see another significant leg down. All right, so let's keep moving with the charting. I appreciate you guys' patience. Hopefully, you guys were able to pick up on that. If you already know supply and demand, a little brush up for you. All right, so NVIDIA BBIG. Uh, do you think it's going to sell down next week? For some reason, part of me doesn't feel that everybody thinks that we're going down and we're still going up, and that makes me feel like it's still gonna go up. And because there are so many resistances near us, and realistically, like, the market is forward thinking. So this set of data that we get this week is likely, and going into the 1st of July, is likely to tell us how the rest of our summer is going to be. And that's not necessarily, it's basically what they project. Oh, things are going to get better. Oh, we see some supply chain issues, like, that are going to end up being curbed, or the kinks in the supply chain, or obviously working themselves out. Those are things that the market's going to forward think to, right? And so that's the kind of stuff that you have to be forward thinking. When everybody's looking down, you got to start thinking, okay, well, let's see, because that's when they catch everybody off guard. There's still this short, right? And you're going to have a lot of people releasing news about bearishness and stuff like that, and that's only going to create more liquidity. So again, these are my thoughts. I could be wrong, and if I am, I probably won't lose any money being wrong, because I only react to what the market gives me and nothing else. So Amazon possibly buying Jamia. I have thought about that time and time again, and it is something that I think that it is a possibility. I don't think that if you bought some test shares, that it would be a terrible idea. I think that they would probably buy them out in the 20 to 30, maybe even $40 range. Thank you for your thoughts. Of course. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you guys are on YouTube, just hit the like button below the video. If you aren't subscribed, well, I think if you're watching, you have to, but no, you don't. But if you guys aren't subscribed to the YouTube, make sure to do that as well. All right, so BBIG, I can't help you as far as making this thing not do this anymore. This has been a absolute nightmare for everybody who's ever been involved in it. I think there's been a couple good squeezes here, but it seems pretty self-explanatory at the moment, unless you see a squeeze, which is the only thing that I could venture right now. A squeeze off of $2. Otherwise, you are almost like 100, not 100%, but I would say 80% sure that you're going to go to the 130 mark and back down. This is not good for anybody, and more sellers than buyers. You can see all the wicks here. Definitely not a stock that people are looking to push to the upside at the moment. Hello. Uh, so yes, I think any moves to the upside are fake outs, if you want to look at it that way. But these fake outs can last a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. We could literally rip until we could rip for the next week and then dump all of July. I mean, here's what I have, and I don't want to tell you not to. I have all sorts of predictions. I have all sorts of thoughts on what the market might do, on what, all these things. I have, crazy lines moving in different places. But at the end of the day, I always argue. I am my own devil's advocate. So I'm always arguing my own point. Why? How? Or am I is this just confirmation bias? Like those type of things are the things that, like, I try to implement because otherwise the market will again do it for me. All right, so Motorola Solutions. This one does appear to have a falling wedge, kind of like most of the market counterparts. You got a point of control at 223.40 and a 200-day moving average at 224.40 or 224.60, and these are basically right in line. So that's going to be a huge wall for MSI. And if you do break above that mark, why is it? Okay, so anyway, perfect resistance running off the highs, moving to the lows here. So you've got that is so when people ask me like confluences, that's a confluence to me. When I see a blatant point of control and a 200-day moving average and my resistance all at one, I know that's the buy point. When it breaks above that and it breaks above 225, you're more than likely going to see a 240 stock. So I don't know if that's going to happen right now. Anytime I see a falling wedge, I always am looking for a 50% retracement of the pattern itself. It has yet to ever fail me, and I continue to keep that in mind to this day. So there's your mark, and then of course you can either just eyeball it, but that's right around 236.70. So 236, 235. So that's somewhere you could look at anywhere above that mark. Anyway, if you don't see that and this ends up falling, of course, the 215 mark is where that likely fails. Ooh, wait, what happened? Yes, Nancy, Nancy Lopez. I very much agree. We do have a lot of room to the upside on the cues. As far as downtrend is concerned, this is the downtrend that I think that you're referring to. And it's one of the reasons why I'm arguing this little tiny setup that I have down here at the bottom. And I'm thinking that there is a possibility after a pullback that we will and could see, and this is actually a megaphone pattern that's setting up already. If you're experienced charting, you probably see it. But this is a larger, higher time frame megaphone that could stretch out. I mean, we could the mid July is we could move all the way up until mid July. And I would say that 330. If you go look at the IO at 330, there's a high amount there too. So I don't think it's outside of the question at this point to continue moving to the upside. But looking at the short term, 305 or 303, the gap fill at 300 are the nearest targets. I've seen the same play in 2008. Yeah. I think that when they go for this one, because honestly, I don't really recognize a lot of megaphones. A lot of them are just bullshit. But this one's be pretty well defined. And if we ended up dumping, I mean, really, it's the 250 mark that I see the cues hitting at a minimum, which is again, right around the bottom of demand. So, all right, let's keep it moving. It's only 8:44. Let's go. Roku, Mandy's dog. Okay, so I already had this one kind of already. It was charted, but it never had any volume to break the upside. But it does seem that's 74.85. 105.60. All right, so you're nearing the top of what I perceive to be as resistance at the moment. You are at your point of control. You have had a really good run off of support, so it's almost 7 days straight of straight green. That being said, I could see a move to 105. I really don't, and I couldn't see. I don't see Roku. I don't see Roku breaking out right now, and making like a huge reversal. But I could see Roku. Oh, and now I see this. If stocks move to the upside, then of course Roku will follow. So All right, so I would say anywhere above that 105 mark, hold. You are likely to see a potential move to the upside from there. And by the upside, I mean probably 110. This is a pretty low volume stock, but the nearest resistance is 105, 60. So Baba is the only buy I see in this market. I don't buy Chinese stocks, at least not long term. I don't even trade them. I only short them. Um, Neo, Lee, all of those stocks, but they are still moving with and the oh shit. The overall market is moving to the upside. Chinese stocks, low interest rates, stuff like that. Unfortunately, I want them to fall, but I know that right now with the climate that they're in, that they still probably have a little bit further to go. 120 is Baba's resistance, nearest resistance, and then 124.26 is right after that. It'd be crazy if it actually made it up. Alrighty. MU. All right. You. All right, so this one I actually have pretty well mapped out as far as where resistance is, supply and demand. This is a perfect example. So this one you can set levels out. It's got a ton of gaps to the upside. It could be a pretty sweet play actually. So you got a decent support balance. The one argument that I'm going to set out here is that while most stocks saw pretty decent moves to the upside, MU lagged pretty heavy, and it also held this what I can see as a bear flag. So if you do see MU below 57.16 and into its gap at 56.12, it has to bounce at 56. Below 56, you're probably going to see another leg down to $50. So above that, above you 60.15 gap fill, 50% market, that is 61.60. And then the whole gap fill is 62.65. And at that point, supply, like I was just talking about, one, two, three, four, that's going to be right around $66, which is also another gap. So, Mara. Mara's gonna probably look a little bit like Riot, and most of the market is holding something similar to this, but oof, that kind of looks like a bear flag as well. Um, so there you go. Mara, and this is about as clear as day. Mara's got to give above 775, and a retest of supply is or excuse me, 845 and 880. Toxic robot. You know, nobody wants to talk about how gross sours are. They're kind of good in a gross way. All right. Roku. Could I look at XPOF? What the hell is that, dude? Okay. Exponential Fitness. What do they own? Who are they? Okay. This is a relatively new stock. So let's go map out IPO lows. The IPO. Ooh, so look at that. So IPO highs, right? So what is that? That is our demand right there. Yuck. All right. So you have, and what do we have anytime we have a demand zone? The 50% mark of anything and everything. I talk about it all the time. I'm sure people are probably getting tired of it, but 50% mark, that's right around the point of control. You have bounced off of that and since recovered. So that's the short term. That's what's happening at the moment. From its highs, we'll go see what this actually looks like because I don't know. All right, there's some truth to that. I think there's a lower time frame. Okay, there's that. So that's that. When you see it, whenever I find the base, right, I go look for the low off of the opening of the channel, right? So whatever opened that channel, that's essentially what I got to be looking for. All right, so now that I got the 4 hour, I need to go down to the hourly time frame, right? Because there's a trend there, and I'm going to show you what that trend looks like. Boom. And what do we have? What do I talk about all the time? Confluence. So we have the 200-day moving average moving alongside of that. And now we go and set a couple levels, right? So we've got $15 on the dot. We've got $14 on the dot. And then 1342. Okay, so above you at the moment, and you do have a little supply zone at 13 or 1296 up to that 1342. So that's going to be the goal. You can see the HMA right there as well. That's going to be where you need to break above, and that's going to help break you out of this smaller, lower time frame downtrend. You actually have already broken that out of that downtrend, but allow for you to retest and possibly move into the $15 area, which $15 would be a proper retest of the supply zone above you and the downtrend that you're currently holding. And on top of that, it would be a bit of a falling wedge, which of course would ultimately lead you into the $17 area. So, what the is a workout? Is this I don't think it's on our market. Is this England? Is this are you making me do crypto? You just tricked me into crypto. What is this? What are you showing me? Why is my music gone? I don't know what exactly if you're looking at this. Oh my God. I can't help you. Let's see here. Wow, this stock has done or this crypto has done nothing but die right there. Oh, it looks terrible. It looks absolutely horrendous. It looks like you tapped resistance, main supply. Again, this is a supply and demand thing, big time. That's at 180. I'll give it 180, but really it tapped 176. So 176 and $2.14. That's what you need to break above on Orca. What am I thinking on Meta? We're gonna beat the dog shit out of it. At least I hope so. No, we are going to. Never mind. Netflix. I already have this charted, so thank you. Oh, damn. Dude, I gotta start setting more alerts my damn self. Damn. That shit broke right out. Right out. And you know how you can tell how it broke right out? Here's how rejections look. All right. I'm gonna use this as a quick lesson. This is a good example because this is a bilateral setup and it's hard to tell which way it's going to move. Here's how you know which way it's going to move. Rejection, immediate drop. Rejection, immediate drop, right? Rejection, dump. Let's see here. Another reject, I mean, multiple rejections, rejection, rejection. That's a rejection. This, right? You get the sellers, the buyers step up. Okay, that's one. Sellers step up again, buyers come up and pull it right back up. What's the magic number? One, two, and then three. At some point, one, two, three, four, five, six, you are going to break to the upside. So Netflix has got a 196 70 supply retest ahead of it. And I would even go as far as to say 190, 195, 194.80, excuse me. Okay, but Netflix, it's a pretty cool looking setup. So All right, Starbucks, Tesla. We'll do Tesla after this one. Okay, so man, and this is really cool in a couple of different ways because certain like SPX is leading and SPX is leading and Starbucks is leading, right? As a strength to show us what is likely to play out with other stocks that are lagging. The megaphone, right? We've talked about it. I haven't touched this chart, guys, in weeks since I left on vacation. I have not charted Starbucks. So this chart, this setup right here has held true and we saw that rejection. It is right. But you know what? If someone tries to take a stupid, and we still can, right? We can gap up, we can see 78, 77, and we can flush and we can dump all day. And here's the thing. What happens when everybody's selling and they push it down? That causes a short squeeze. What happens when they run it up and then dump it? Margin calls and everybody's selling. So that leads and adds to that dump. So this is where things can get easier because in small accounts, you guys should be watching Starbucks. Starbucks is an easy stock. Not, I don't want to say it like that. Obviously, I've been trading for a while, but it is if I wanted to not have to work at all, like Starbucks is one of those stocks that if it's moving and it's not in range, it is a really good stock to trade. And again, not in range. You'll notice that the candles on the hourly really, really weak. Direction, really, really weak. If you trade it from a rejection down to a obviously a demand zone here, and then you let it break and show you which way, you can even take a position at 75. You still get a really good move. But anyway, so above this 78 and are really above the gap 78.80, you have a resistance around $80.30. So I already did Apple. I know, Nancy. I want to short it, and that is I have a plan for that, right? So you can even see it's got like that bear flag. If Starbucks dumps, I'm telling you guys right now, it's going to dump to 75, and you can take a short below 76, 73, potentially, and then look for that pullback down to gap fill at 75.20. So, which is perfectly in line with support, which it mimics everything else. So anywhere below 75, obviously short that shit. So, um, let's see. RCKT. What's that? Rocket Pharmaceuticals. I think this. I've definitely charted this before. Must have been a long time ago. Oh my God, that is. Yo, you want to talk about a technical setup? Like a fucking damn. Look at that. That's a young market maker making his first little channel. How cute. Look at this. Look at that ridiculousness. What do they do? Cancer? What's the I didn't mean to word it like that, but what is the let's see. Rocket Pharmaceutical says Dana disease therapy trial data shows improvement in 1 year. Man, said Monday of the phase one clinical trial evaluating a single intravenous to treat Dana disease. So the best gene therapy was generally well tolerated at a low dose and confident sustained clinical benefit as a dull and adult. Okay, so it's a rare X-linked. So, all right, I hate saying it this way because this is just the truth of the stock market. If it's a rare disease, it's not profitable. So it may be profitable because they can jack the price up like ungodly. But that's the latest. That's November 15th. So I'm gonna say this, okay? If I knew that this company was about to release or data was coming out, I would be looking at the block trades. I would be accumulating here. I would obviously, react to price action, but this is a stock that I think I don't know what they're doing. And anywhere below $9.90, this thing is liable to dump again, even lower to like $3. But above this $15 mark and above 17, I'm curious to see what exactly they do because this could actually move pretty well to the upside. It's got a massive falling wedge to the downside or to the upside. So there you go. If you haven't seen it. Can you talk about what good entries might look like with respect to any of these other levels? Sure. Do you have a stock that you want me to like talk about in particular? My thoughts on Sundial. Absolute garbage. Terrible cannabis company. Bad management. Moldy weed. Bad supply chain issues. Probably not going to make it. Uh, they may end up getting absorbed, but it is a unfortunate stock. And it only got caught up in the short squeeze shit, and that just made it worse. So, I mean, I'm always happy to share my thoughts on the cannabis space. I have strong feelings, and not a lot of people like my opinion because it obviously speaks to probably more downside or more losses. But the fact of the matter is the companies that you see right now that are thriving or even doing relatively well are doing relatively well in this climate, not any other climate, right? So imagine when Canadian companies that rule the space all of a sudden have to deal with a bajillion different American companies, right? And everybody's going to be buying each other out. You're going to get a large, like Cookies brand. They're going to buy out small, which they're already doing, and they already use smaller farms. But you're going to see more acquisitions of smaller farms because this isn't a something that you can go into when it's mass produced. You're going to have, and that's the one variable here. When they figure out how to create a product that doesn't have any variables like cannabis does growing it, then you can see a company start profitably mass producing. But the money in cannabis lies in edibles, vapes, things that have shelf lives that are going to last for a long time and they're easy to buy. Everything else is really outside of it is just for, boutique and, that kind of stuff and whatever. But it's the medicinal parts of it, and that's where you're going to see companies divide. Right now, you have certain states that still get a ton of traffic because of tourism, because cannabis is legal in that state and not in theirs. But when cannabis is legal all over, all of a sudden, those companies that had a foothold are gonna have to start, and they're already doing it, but they're gonna try and rush into every single space available. And you're gonna see companies fall, you're gonna see companies rise, and so it's gonna be pretty crazy. And that's another bubble that probably hasn't yet blown up. You'll see companies start to. There'll probably be another cannabis bubble. I'm assuming so. But anyway, that's my thoughts on it. If you ever wanted to hear them, I use exponential moving averages. I hate the music. My gosh, PT mean Pete in your cereal. I'm just kidding. Yes, probably oil-related stocks. Ruley has identified that in war ending as a catalyst for that pop. Yeah, absolutely. All right, everybody wants Tesla, so let's do Tesla. All right, so we'll clean this thing up, start fresh. All right, so here's what we got because we need to start with the basics because Tesla's in a hot mess right now. That's one. That's big. That's two. That's not so big. That's our bottom. That's our 50. All right. So now we got the 4 hour. We got the daily. We got our levels checked out. Why do we find levels on the daily? Because those consolidate the data for us. All right. Now we got a Tesla, which is, excuse me. Oh, damn. 1, 2, 3. All right. I sound like the Tootsie Bowl dude. So 1, 2, 3, right? You guys always know I'm looking for a break or a rejection. One or the other, neither, it doesn't really settle. And we are up against resistance. So opening up tomorrow, again, I talked about the gap up. If we see a small gap up, I don't like it. I don't want it. It's probably going to fall and pull back, and you don't want that type of energy to start the day. Period. End of story. 758 and 760. Candle close on the hourly. The vibes got to be right. And there's the remainder of a gap fill to 773, 774.70. Right above that, and in combination with our moving averages here, we have our final level, which speaks to potential upside past that, which is 788 and 790. Okay, that's it. If Tesla breaks out of that, that is your demand zone. All right, demand zone, and you would be breaking above it, and you would be looking at where your next retest is. And again, that would likely be in the 850 range to possibly just around the 835. So I like weed. That's good. Did you just type that so that I would read that out? What if it wrecks down? Okay, so what happens if Tesla moves to the downside? That's a great question. So if Tesla moves down, first of all, just like we just did to the upside, we got to figure out where our levels are to the downside. And again, the same levels that stand up, stand down. Right here, I'm trying to line that up. So it looks like 685. So below you, right, and it's going to be the point of control, 710, the loss of $700, which I promise you, you don't want to trade through because there's plenty of money to be made once it falls. If it falls below 675, there is a gap to fill at 658, and I would bet my bottom damn dollar that it's going to go to 625. From there, I think I had support, and it's coming off of this wick here. Oops. Yeah, so I have Tesla moving, and I think we actually have it. There it is. Okay, so I have Tesla from there falling down to the 570s, 570, 568, somewhere in that range, depending on the timing, of course. Um, but yeah, Tesla's got support pretty far away. Resistance is going to be just as hard to claw for. So, um, thank you for showing up and downsides, of course. Yeah, and always welcome to ask me about those in the morning. But speaking of, I'm gonna go ahead and um, I'm gonna go ahead and shut it down. I'm gonna take a couple other requests here just to finish the night, and then I will see you all tomorrow morning, bright and early, to go ahead and get our week started. Again, I want you guys to get your mindset, your mind just, I'm gonna keep repeating it, I've had a lot of people, really, really struggling with the idea of not trading. Okay, and I don't want to say that to you on Monday. I'm just and like have you think that I'm trying to tell you to not trade. I'm trying to tell you to be very selective when things are up against resistance and you don't know, don't do. If you don't have clear direction on Monday and the first 15, 30 minutes are dumb, then go ahead and don't trade. So again, I have seen so many people because they have BP, because there's money to put in, they're going to still do it anyway. So if you feel tempted, feel free to, maybe we need to get a confession booth or something going, but, try to find some type of practice. This week, with all of the data that we have coming in, there is going to be periods of indecision. Powell is talking again, more data, more forecast. So while we get close to those events, We have to be aware. I will say one thing: we are moving towards earnings again, and that does have a lot to do with where we're going to go from there. So, PSX. This is about as simple as it gets. You've got a clear level below you, anywhere below 83.27, and you have dumped hellaciously. So don't be surprised if you go back and retest $90 before it's all said and done, and that would likely be above 87.30 or 87.50, excuse me. But below that, your support is it's 79.35 and $80. That's where your nearest support level is. And I also have a dynamic trend line starting from these lows running across. And I would say a very accurate target here is going to be $80. So $80 on PSX, and watch for a bounce there. I have seen the open interest on those, man. I've been looking at the options change. So what is Val talking? Tuesday and Wednesday. Oh, you don't chart with extended hours? Not on the weekends. No. So here's, and I want to talk about this really quickly because it's actually important. So when we're using extra data, right, or we're using after hours, I personally have found it to be more confusing. The overall volume, I don't like. Okay, so let's think about it this way: when we're charting downtrends, are there wicks that go above the trend line? Yes. What is usually happening on those wicks? Either you had a low volume stock running up and it was too weak to hold, um, and so it was easily pulled back down. Um, and where did that just go? Hold on one second. But that's what extended hours are. Extended hours are low volume trading. And unless the volume is really, really high, or the we have a big gap up or a big gap down, I don't include it. There are times where, and usually in the morning, I do chart on the hourly and the daily just to see if I'm missing anything. And that's the one thing, is always be willing. I'm wrong all the time, but I go and put myself through rigorous checks over and over. Like I'm double checking this. I want to make sure that my moving averages line up. Whatever the case may be. So if you're charting with the daily and things aren't lining up, or the hourly and things aren't lining up, then you can turn on the extra data and see if you see anything. But for the most part, I stick with where the volume is, and that's during the day. So bear market for stocks, crypto about to be bullish for months. Um, Man, I try. I don't ever make statements like that. Here's the one thing that I think makes me profitable. I don't care. I don't care where the market goes. I don't even care about the market. I could care less. I mean, I think it's kind of evil. I'm not going to sit around and watch as it makes money without me. But at the end of the day, I do not care. I know when it's time to buy, and obviously, for the most part, know when it's time to sell. And I've got a pretty good system for doing so. So I don't care where the market goes. I trade it up, I trade it down, and it keeps me from having any emotions about it because I don't care. And I think that's the attitude that helps me. Like, I don't get invested in companies. I don't believe in companies. Like, they don't get any emotions from me, because they're really designed to take my money. So I'm not gonna, give emotions to something that's gonna take my money, unless we're going on a date or something. I did TSM already, and it's on the YouTube, so you can go back and review that. So, what are my settings? Well, for the EMAs, I use DK Swag on TradingView, so make sure it's the same one. And then the settings I have are right there if you want to pause that. Yeah, absolutely never fall in love with a stock. I've made that mistake. I've made the mistake of falling in love with shorting a stock. I did that with Nikola from like 60 to 7, and I made a lot of money on it. And then I lost a decent amount of money on it because I wouldn't stop shorting it. I literally was like going bonkers. And then I realized that as evil and as stupid as the company was, there was 1,000 other of them that exist and still go up and down every single day. So I don't care about stocks. I don't. I don't care about the company. I don't care who the CEO is. I don't care where his kids go to school. I don't care what he ate for breakfast. I don't care about none of that. I just care about where supply, demand is, and where sellers and buyers are going to step up, and where can I put my money and take it out. And it's that kind of like coldness and like just like that. Just I just don't care. And so like if I don't care, I don't feel, and if I don't feel, I can't react to emotions. I can only react to price. You have kind of have to be a psychopath with the stock, like with the market in general. You have to like, if you're looking at it like a relationship, you have to like literally just not care about any of it. Like, and I'm not saying that maybe it works for you if you do believe in a stock and you have feelings for it, but any feelings in the stock market are gonna get hurt. You know, so you have to be a narcissist. Um, I hope not. I've been to a therapist. Um, oh, you telling? Oh, with the market. I thought you were talking about me. I was like, damn. I feel like I feel like I'm trying not to. I mean, I feel like I'm not, but maybe I am now, David. No, just kidding. Um, you know what? I watch so many damn TikToks, and it's like, if you're a narcissist, if you do this, this, and this, and I'm like, well, I do that and that. I'm like, fuck. Like sometimes I think that, like certain people, bro, I have flashbacks. I mean, I've had ex-girlfriends call me a narcissist, but that was just because they were throwing insults back and forth. But, yeah. I'm not one to like stare at myself in the mirror. I can promise you that. Half the time I don't even comb my hair for TikTok videos. So yeah, according to TikTok, I'm a narcissist. I've got all sorts of weird ticks that I don't know about. Who knows? Alrighty. I did Tesla. Um, I'll do coin, and we'll go ahead and wrap up the night. All right, Coinbase is doomed. Have a good night. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. All right, here's what I got. I already have it mapped out. Thank you, previous Garrett. Um, check it out. Little support action right there. So coin is nearing its resistance, $66.67 and 67.20. You might and could see a little wick up to 69. If it gets above 70, then possibly a move to the upside. But at the moment, if you do see a rejection, I would venture to guess dumpy. Yeah, coin. I'm not bullish on coin. I think they're kind of fucked, but excuse my language, but drink. I had a drink. Alrighty. Heal. Oh, fuck. Damn. Well. Damn. So you're heading for supply. It is clear as day. That is 1037. 1037 and 1075. If you break above that, then this stock may end up going to its long awaited resistance, which is all the way up at $15. So I'm bullish on PLTR. I actually do um think that this isn't a positive place to move to the upside. I again don't care if it does or not, but it is if it does move above those marks, it is a stock that I would end up buying. It is one that could end up being a gem amongst the poop. So. All right, y'all. I will be live tomorrow morning, 8:45, excuse me, Eastern time. Um, we're gonna go ahead and live trade, do our thing. Really quickly, just a reminder. I did, and I will repost the same post. We are have a Discord change coming in August, a price change. So if you guys, it's not crazy, and obviously we're just adding and expanding. Some of the admins are obviously in places where their roles are needed heavier. So we're going to be implementing that in August. So you guys are obviously welcome to check out the post, and I'll post further details there. So, but anyway, if you're not in the Discord or if you're in the free part of the Discord, continue to do so. Continue to learn, continue to absorb all of this information for free. You don't need to join or pay for anything if you're new. You just need to continue to be curious, continue to ask questions, and bother the shit out of somebody. And if you can't bother them, bother somebody else until you get the answers that you need. So, TCRT, I guess I did say I would look at that. TRCT. Go to any of my links in my bio. Um, TCRT. Wait, didn't I chart this? I did chart it. I already charted this, I think. Apparently I did. Buyers are still holding this up. It's running with another stock that looks exactly like this. I've charted it earlier. But it looks like the nearest resistance is $1.07. So, all right, you guys have a great night. Peace.